in here. Hello. How's my sound, light, etc.? I'm having my breakfast brunch on stream right now. This is going to be a pretty boring stream if I don't have anyone watching. But on the bright side, I can have my bagel. I picked up nice fresh bagels at the local bakery. And I'm going to have some bagels while waiting for everyone to sign on. Hello, new people. Could somebody who's just come in confirm for me that my sound and light all look okay? Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Gabor. Yeah, these bagels are amazing. There's a bakery down the street that I've been trying to make a point of going to through the pandemic. They really only let one person through, and they have a cash system, so you never interact with anyone. You just drop your payment into a little cash box, and they deliver it's all plexied out, and they bring your bagels to a opening in the plexi, you pay, and you walk out with your bagels. So it's quite safe. So even though we're in lockdown and I've been avoiding grocery stores, I've been getting bagels, but I went for my bagel run this morning a little bit too late to finish eating before starting my stream. 2:10, so early today. Well, yeah, the goal is to start at 2. I don't seem to ever meet that goal. So today I started a 2:10 stream just a little bit earlier. Hi, Lise. And hi, Stephen. That's cream cheese. Lise, by the way, I was able to add you as a mod. Gabor, I could probably add you as well. I just, when I searched your name, a lot of different people came up. So it was a little difficult to figure out who I was adding. So, you were absolutely right. You do have a channel, and I can just find it for whatever reason when I last searched you. I guess I couldn't find your channel, so I assumed it was because you don't have a creator account, but I think that I may just be wrong about that altogether, and I should be able to add anyone, assuming I can find their user, which is a little bit harder to search if you don't have much of a presence, or it turns out if you have a common name. Okay, so I will finish up food and then I'll get started on some real art. Yeah, I've been adding quite a few people, just because it's good to make sure to always have a mod no matter who comes on. I'll try to get a bit of sketching done today. Cool. Do you know what you're going to be sketching? I'm about to have some pie too. Ooh, what kind of pie? needs to shut up. Okay. I just had pizza. I almost never had pizza. Last night I made a thing with, I had frozen pizza dough and frozen peaches. And so I defrosted some pizza dough, heated up a cast iron skillet, spread out the pizza dough on the skillet, and put cooked up the peaches with just a little bit of sugar and some spices and spread them out. So spread out the peaches on the frozen pizza dough and topped it with a little bit of goat cheese and wrapped it up and made like a tart thing, like a galette. But yeah, so it was like kind of like a pie pizza, like pie dessert pizza thing that I made last night. It was really, really tasty. Chicken tarragon. Oh, the pie. That sounds good. To be honest, I'd be tempted to just skip cheese if, like, when I get vegan pizza. I'm not a huge fan of vegan cheese. Certainly not like the melty kind. I've had some good like cream cheese alternatives where it's more of just a spread. It's sort of like a savory spread thing made with cashews or something. And sometimes those are really tasty, but I've never really found like melty vegan cheese to be satisfying. It just tastes sort of like disappointing to me. I think we've actually talked about vegan cheese alternatives. The good ones are really expensive, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess I've just always found them to like not, I would rather have cheese or no cheese, but like it just always seems like a little bit of a sad, like not cheese. Like they're just not, they don't melt the same way, they don't have the same flavor. So like I'm happy to eat vegan things, but tend to not be very impressed with the vegan cheeses. I mean, the same thing goes, I'm vegetarian and I don't tend to go for meat alternatives very much. I find either, well, to be honest, I've been vegetarian for so long that sometimes when they are more convincing, I find them less appealing. I'm just not used to eating meat. But in general, I'd just be happier to eat the vegetables and eat the proteins and what have you without them trying to be something that they're not. I've made my own vegan cheese before. It's surprisingly nice, but it's not like cheese. Yes, so that's the vegan cheeses that I've had that I've actually really enjoyed are things like a cashew-based spread or something where it's got some spices and stuff in it, and they're really nice. And they sort of take the place of like a cream cheese or a soft cheese, but they're not really, they're entirely unlike cheese, and in those circumstances, I quite enjoy them. I made a mistake last week eating next to some full pans and got some crumbs on the paint. It was quite tricky cleaning it. I forgot to put the lid on this palette, so it's all full of dust and cat fur now. No, same. I like my veggies. I often don't enjoy meat substitutes at all. Yeah, I mean, I totally see their place and I do eat them. you know, it is easier if you're going to have like a barbecue or something to like, yeah, just, you know, make a burger for me, like you make a burger for everyone else, just use a veggie burger. Like, and so that's the circumstances where I'll often eat meat alternatives is literally if it's a social thing and I'm just eating the same as other people, only vegetarian. And they're fine, but it's not something that I really reach for. Okay, well, food is delicious. Bagels were really, really good. Wanted to show you, so last week I started out painting these and doing these little sketches from life. So, well, from life, from death. So I had a little Baltimore Oriole, which I found, a window strike, a dead bird. He's now been buried, where he will fertilize my cabbages. So I did these two live, and then I added this one. I also did a spread wing sketch, and also later the same evening also painted a top view. So now I've done a whole bunch from that one bird. Here, I'll show you. I also did some time ago in here somewhere, yeah, all the way back here. So this was the first sketch I did of this bird. And then this guy is the top, and some more details which I did live on stream. So Steven accepted all the pounds offered from this chat this week, and last he'd be elephant sized. You know what? I'll take some too. The thing is, I don't even care. Like my weight is fine. I would just like to just fit into all of my pants. Yeah, so what am I doing today? Anyone have any requests for today's stream? Or just start sketching things? I have this sketchbook exchange sketchbook, which on Christmas Day, I sketched this guy. And so I could do another sketch here. Like, maybe I'll do a detail sketch of one of the claws on this dinosaur critter. Lichen. Do I have any lichen specimens on me? I don't think I do. I can do that next week though. Or in a similar vein to the lichen, sort of. What do I have here? I have a bit of coral. The etcher. I guess I do have an etcher sketchbook. I've put a cover on it. Yeah, I mean, it's going. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is a Clairefontaine, so it's very similar to the Etcher sketchbook, but it's not Etcher. And it has these little postcards at the back. So I figured I'd just doodle on some of them. Sorry, like just fill them all out. And then when I send this out for the sketchbook exchange, people can take out one of the postcards each and keep them. Yeah, it's 100% cotton. And hot press. So yeah, quite nice. So yeah, so I can draw this little bit of coral on here. Seems like a thing to do. Hey, Triana Hamu. Hi, Mom. And thank you. Yeah, so far I really like this paper. I mean, I haven't really tested it heavily with watercolor yet, so we shall see. But nice. Well, the etcher is a lot cheaper, so I would probably just go for etcher just for that reason. Just because it's easier to, like, it's more widely available and it's cheaper. The Clairefontaine paper is definitely smoother, which I tend to like. But again, I haven't used watercolor on it yet, so I am not really sure. I might try that next on stream because I suspect that this will not take me very long to do this little sketch, so I might do something else in watercolor. Yeah, so this one was a weird find where Ev pointed it out. It's available at one of our like national art stores. It's a chain, Dessert. But you know, usually things aren't really available in Canada until long after they're available elsewhere. But we found this, or Ed found this one kind of hot press cotton sketchbook, which is, you know, hot press cotton sketchbooks in general are just not a thing. There's etcher and that's about it. So but to be honest, I haven't seen it anywhere else. And it's not like it didn't come cheap. Yeah. Squirrel bears. Hello. How are you? How goes the box making? Any suggestion on how to get a small amount of gouache? Perhaps the M. Graham 5 set of black, white, and some sort of primaries. I hate to say it, but Amazon carries M. Graham gouache. I think, what's it called? Wallets? They're out of Ottawa, but they have free shipping over $39. So you could, I think they carry M. Graham gouache, so you could get that there. Yeah, I don't think that they carry the M. Graham watercolor, but not the gouache. I believe that Wallets carries the gouache. Wallets is WALLACK apostrophe S. There's also a couple of Holbein starter sets that have a similar selection, and Holbein makes a good gouache. You can get those at Jackson's Art. No, Wallack, like Wallack. WALLAK or ACK apostrophe S. Apostrophe S. They're an art supply store in Ottawa, but they have free shipping over $39 to certainly anywhere in Ontario. And they will, I believe they carry M. Graham gouache. I believe I have gotten M. Graham gouache there. Thanks, Lise. Yeah, that's the one. Five set is about 50 Canadian. Okay, and do they sell it as a set? It's kind of nice. I like it. And Graham does similar to their watercolor 5 sets, Marine Southwest, etc. Oh, cool. That seems like a pretty decent price. Have the 5 set for 50 bucks. Yes. So many things are sold out, and it's like, I imagine it's just supply chain issues. But actually, on a related note to gouache, I got myself some casein paints. And I wanted to get the primary set, but the primary set was sold out everywhere. It seems like Curry's doesn't carry it anymore. For the longest time, State of the Art Supplies had some. They had these wooden sets of them, and they sold out all of them, which was really weird. I finally tracked them down at, what's the place in Guelph? I've forgotten the name of the store. It'll come to me. But I ordered these from the art supply store in Guelph. And they did not have the primary set. They had this underpainting set. And then they had just a weird selection of other tubes. So I got some more tubes then. But like, you'll notice that among this set, I don't have anything resembling like a rose, a magenta, nothing like that. So that's interesting. Yeah, casein is a milk protein. And so it's sort of, historically, it's the precursor to acrylic, where it's water-based. Like you thin it with water and you clean out your brushes with water, but it dries into a closed surface. But it's matte like gouache, and it doesn't form as strong a film as acrylics. So you can, if you leave it for a day or something and come back to it, or are doing layers and scrub at them really hard, they do come up a little bit. So it sort of behaves somewhere in between gouache and acrylic. It's matte like gouache. It's also used as an underpainting medium for oil. So it's sort of in that nebulous, like, it's got a longer working time than acrylic. It's more workable than acrylic. It's not completely water soluble like gouache. You can't just lift on layers underneath. Somewhere in that gouache, oil, acrylic realm. It's got a unique smell to it. Some people hate it. I actually really, really like it. But yeah. If you want to see some examples, James Gurney does a lot of work with casein. So acrylic gouache with a longer drying time? Well, no, because acrylic gouache is literally just acrylic. It's just matte acrylic. This doesn't have any acrylic binder in it. It just has milk. So it'll never like gum up your brushes like acrylic will, or even acrylic wash. I wonder if it's hard to make. No, apparently, so part of the reason why it's difficult to get as prepared paint is that traditionally it was made, you can get just the casein binder. You can get it from Shiva, or you can make it yourself. There are instructions online for doing that. And then you can mix it with your own pigments. To be honest, I could not be bothered to mix up my own paints every time I want to paint. It's not gonna happen. It has a beautiful look. Yeah, I really enjoyed so one of my best friends got some of this stuff years and years and years ago, and I tried it out and I really enjoyed it, but I kind of I postponed getting it because, to be honest, I have some gouache that I barely use. I am sort of overwhelmed by opaque media. Like I went from drawing to watercolor, and it's always been building up layers rather than bringing out highlights. So it's just a different way of thinking. So, yeah. Apparently you can also make casein-based wood glue. Yep. You can also, it's also used in, traditionally it was used for painting like house paint. And so when you get like milk paint type paints, a lot of them now are just, they have the look of milk paint, but they're made with acrylic. But you can still get traditional milk paint some places. I feel that way with tempera. It looks beautiful, and I know I'm not ever going to get into it myself. Yeah, so I think actually what I'm probably going to do with these is use them perhaps as an underpainting medium to work with gouache. So, I mean, I have the underpainting set. I did also separately order some white and I think some black. Just because I figured that was kind of necessary, but being mostly a watercolor artist, I don't know, I did really enjoy using these when I last tried them, and I think that stretching yourself, like doing things that are difficult or challenging, challenging yourself really helps with developing your art skills. So whether or not this becomes part of my regular routine, trying to stretch myself by working in a more opaque medium sometimes is a good idea. And I figured since I'm not buying any new paints this year, so I bought these in January. No, not January. Sorry, what am I talking about? December. Just before, like late December. Before my no-buy started. And I figured it would be nice to have something completely different to experiment with. But then, you know, this is the extent of my experiments this year. Yeah, there's definitely artists, Quiller, James Gurney, what's his name? Jared Cullum, who all work in. Mary Sanch also works in a number of different media, and I think that it really does help with understanding, you know, interactions of light and whatever, to work in both directions, and be comfortable with that. So that's something that I'm challenging myself to do a little bit this year. But I have to say, it was really strange because I didn't want to I could have just bought everything on one of the big American sites and had it shipped, or worse, bought it all on Amazon, because all of these things were available on Amazon. But I would really like to support local business. So I didn't really quite get the colors that I wanted because I got what was available from the local store. Wyndham Art Supplies is the one that I bought from. So Wyndham Art Supplies in Guelph, and they're a really lovely, lovely little store. Yeah. And it's neat stuff. So that's on the to-do list. I did go back to Art Store on Caroline Street recently, bought a metal easel from them. That's cool. Nice. I hope they treated you well. I haven't painted with gouache in 15 years. When I was in art therapy, we used cheap gouache and I enjoyed it. I thought about getting something, but it has been holding back. Well, if you used it before and you enjoyed it, what's holding you back? Oh, good, good. I'm glad to hear that statement. So Cornelissen sell Schminke casein medium. Oh, Schminke makes casein medium. Cool, and powdered casein. Perhaps I can treat my Sakura Koi like gouache. You might, I mean, or just use, like, the other thing that some people do is they'll just get one tube of white gouache and mix it with various watercolors, and you know, that's a way to get something that's very much like gouache without buying any gouache. So that's something to consider. Well, that's something that you can try, and certainly, like, then if you really enjoy it, you can always get more gouache and watch out for when somebody restocks the sets. I don't use my oils and acrylics very much. I suspect I'm not ready to get new shinies if I'm not sure I have the energy to use them often, but maybe someday again. Okay, loving the look of the coral. Cool, thank you. I'm finding myself distracted and lost in this coral. I was undecided what to draw this evening. I wanted to fill one of the palettes from you with Dan's paints, but I have an unfinished landscape lingering in my mind, so landscape drawing it is. Okay, cool. That sounds really nice. You can always fill a palette today. And I am glad that those palettes are being put to good use. Gabor, I really love the look of your pieces. Your use of ink is really cool. Maybe I'll do a video on perspective at some point. Certainly don't consider myself an expert on it, but picked up a thing or two over time. Found Jeff Kersey's technique quite insightful on perspective. I'll have to look that up. Steve Mitchell has a good one. On perspective, you mean? Dan, you don't like his goofy sense of humor? I love Steve Mitchell. Steve Mitchell's great. But I totally get it. Like, what's her name? Lindsay, the frugal crafter. Like, all respect to her, but I can't watch her. You know, sometimes somebody might be a great artist and make good videos that other people love, and that you know, just don't work for everyone. That's fine. I'm sure that my videos don't work for everyone. I just leave Mind of Watercolor videos before the Bible quote. I guess I must leave them before the Bible quote too, because I never even noticed the Bible quote. But I guess I watch a lot of videos like most of the way through, and then the drop off towards the end. You know, skip past the Skillshare ads, skip past all of them. Really? Huh. I never even noticed it. So yeah, I guess I must just be skipping out of all of them. No, he never puts ads. I'm just saying that in general, I tend to sort of skip through videos from a lot of creators. So a lot of other creators will put like a Skillshare product placement or something. You know, like they'll do their little "this video is sponsored by Skillshare." Skillshare is a learning platform where blah blah blah, and for a limited time, etc., etc. And today I'm learning about this thing. Like, skip past all of that stuff, and then at the end a lot of creators will put something else. So I guess I tend to just watch videos and skip past a lot of stuff. So I've never even noticed that Mind of Watercolor, that Steve Mitchell puts Bible quotes in his videos. Like, I've not noticed it, and I guess I must just be skipping out of them before I see them. Yeah, I mentioned Skillshare sponsorships, but I didn't mean for Mind of Watercolor specifically, just in terms of how I watch videos in general. I could see how that would be annoying, though, if you're the kind of person who watches videos all the way through. Steve Mitchell's a great teacher. I never noticed Bible quotes either, just a Southern thing. Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of creators on YouTube put in their, little taste of whatever their religion is into their content. Just a little bit of extra flavor. I honestly, like, it's cracking me up a little because I never even noticed. I've been watching him for years. I would probably have discontinued if it was pushy or preachy. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just a little clip at the end or something? Like in the end screen, maybe? I don't know. It's just a little picture at the end. Oh, okay. All right. So probably it's just the final end screen. So I probably just tab away from that where I see like he's finishing up his piece and I just go to the next video or something. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I think it's just how I watch videos is I'm like I rarely ever make it to that point on anybody's videos, so there are a few people I don't follow because beliefs or spirituality take up more space than I prefer. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that 3 seconds at the end on the end screen, like obviously I'm not the only one who has watched plenty of his videos here who like never even noticed. Luis Damasi has good watercolor videos on Skillshare. Oh, I'm sure that lots of artists have great videos on Skillshare. I've even considered buying a Skillshare membership. I just find Skillshare sponsorships super annoying. Yeah, I don't think that anyone's interpreting this as controversial. I'm cracking up because you mentioned it, and this is someone who I've been watching for years. I never even noticed. Like, really? He has Bible verses? When? But if it's just like 3 seconds at the end, then yeah, that makes sense. I just don't even watch those things, so. Yes, Louise Damasi is an absolutely lovely human being too. She's just really, really wonderful. I signed up for Skillshare and barely watched 5 videos in 6 months. I did that with, what's the other one? Schoolism. I signed up for Schoolism and watched 2 videos in a year. Whoops. And the thing is, there's still a class on Schoolism that I really want to take, which is why I signed up to begin with, and then it just never panned out, but I don't feel like paying for it again, given how bad I was about using it at all. I was on Skillshare. I did that too with Billy Shoal, but I did watch a few more than 5. I was on Skillshare. I was very disappointed in most of the content. They were pretty much just a cut up 20-minute YouTube video, most of the time very low on information. That's too bad. I mean, it's a lot of the same creators, right? Where people will post their stuff, like shorter videos on YouTube and then use it to promote their paid content on Skillshare. And I guess it also just like really depends then, like, you know, is this someone who's actually providing content, who's actually, or even capable of providing content that is worth money to you? You know, I know a lot of artists who have Skillshare classes. I mean, the main reason why I haven't tried it is just like having tried a few other things without any kind of accountability for getting myself to actually follow through and take these classes and pay, like, give them the attention that they deserve. I don't really see that it's worth it to me, but it's that has a lot more to do with myself than any individual artist. But I would say probably, like, if you have specific classes that you want to take, then it probably makes more sense than if you're just, you know, hoping to find better content, because the truth is you're probably going to find a lot of the same people who you find on YouTube, and they provide, you know, extra content, but it might not actually be more informative necessarily or more helpful than just the YouTube version. I find I learn a lot more in in-person classes, and that's just like, you know, how I learn better. But this is all going to be different for each person. They don't have a very high bar for who they ask on as teachers. They've written me twice to get me on a program to do classes. I mean, I think anyone can just sign up to make a Skillshare class, right? Like, congratulations, I'm not diminishing that, but is there actually, like, any kind of verification process, or can you just, I thought anyone could just, yeah. Hi, Jenny. Welcome. I think my main concern is no one watching. Well, I mean, is that different than... I would assume that that's the same as any other video platform, where, like, you might not get as much engagement as you were hoping, but is that not the same as just YouTube or anywhere else where you put content? Patreon, etc. I mean, definitely that's a concern that I have had with Patreon. I think at this point I just need to buckle up and finish making my page. But I didn't want to launch a Patreon page too early and just have, you know, 2 people. Have my mom supporting me on Patreon. You know, like, eh. There's a point at which it, you know, you need a certain amount of engagement for it to work out. It's a paid service, but if you don't like a course, you just jump to another one. I agree the bar should be high, but the platform doesn't make it so. Right. I thought that the way that Skillshare really worked was it was just, it's basically like a YouTube sort of thing, but that the creators get paid based on how many people are watching their content. Right. Oh, like you have a YouTube Premium. Yeah. So it's basically like YouTube Premium. Where, for example, when Gabor watches my content, I get paid. A little bit. Just a tiny bit. Set up Patreon so you can at least get a coffee worth. Oh, I'm sure that, like, at this point, I'm sure that I would get, you know, somewhat more than that. But this is like a year or two ago when I had, like, no following on YouTube and didn't want to rush into Patreon. At this point, it's just so many things, you know, there's just so many things to do, and like, oh yeah, and I need to sort out Patreon tiers on as well and promote that. But I will, I promise. And then you can support me on Patreon. I'll get that done by the end of the month, I promise. Hi, Martin. good. How are you? Okay, so here's a little pen and ink coral. And I think the next thing I'll do is maybe test out some watercolors on one of these little. What am I doing? Right. Test out some watercolors on one of these. Oh, hi, Nettie. Okay, so I just dibs on the coral. Okay. Drawing an extinct whale named Moby Dick. I'm sitting here sketching in pencil like a pleb. There's no problem with sketching in pencil. I just happen to prefer sketching in ink. That's me, not you. You don't have to work like me. Okay, so I haven't really had a chance to use this sketchbook for ink or for watercolor yet, because the two things that I did in it so far on my Christmas stream, I sketched this wild bergamot, but we had a viewer who asked some questions actually just about colored pencil, so I did this one in colored pencil, and then today I sketched this little coral, and I did that in a ballpoint pen. So I still haven't used watercolor in this watercolor sketchbook, so I think I'm going to do something with watercolor. Drawing an extinct whale named after Moby Dick. I read I'm drawing an extinct whale named Moby Dick, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I was joking. I've been known to sketch in ink too back in the day, but I'm on pencil at the moment. I'm working. Cool. What is work, Suzanne? What is work for you? Any 2021 resolutions? Oh, did you miss the last stream? I went on a whole rant. I'll be right back. Buy nothing. Oh, is that such a deeply satisfying pleasure watching images emerge onto blank sheets of paper, but I've dallied too long. I really have to go. Love your work. Thanks, Mom. Isn't it based on the event of a tailor in Massachusetts who went on a whale hunt but got hunted by a group of whales? Oh, okay. So Suzanne, you're also buying nothing this year. Yes. So Gabor, to your question, I'm gonna rotate this so that I have a bit better access. But to your question, I am starting a buy nothing or no shopping year. really my goal with this. I will practice the buy nothing idea and use all my current sketchbooks, making a wish list of all that I'm tempted to buy, and I will treat myself in 2022. Cool. Yeah, I'm approaching mine a little bit differently, where I don't want to just delay buying things. I feel like I've got more stuff in my life than I can really handle and keep track of. I really function much better in a very, very minimal environment. But of course I like all the shiny, pretty things. So, yeah. So I decided to I'm not buying anything. I'm not buying art supplies, I'm not buying clothing, I mean, obviously I'll buy essentials. You know, I do still need to eat, so I will buy things that I need, and any kind of replacements where if something breaks, I can replace it. Including, you know, if my brushes get really worn down, I can replace them. If I need more paper, I can get paper. It's not going to happen, but if I did need new paint, like if I ran out of paint, I could get that. And then the other thing is, I mean, eventually I will want things, and I'm aware of that. And so I am making allowances for, I want to support small business. So there are some handmade paint releases that I want to buy, and I will. But I will just get rid of many things in my house for every one thing that I bring in, and be really, really careful about, you know, okay, if this set of paints is worth it to me, then I'll get rid of 50 things in my house. What if you run out of PY150? I mean, granted, that's not going to happen. But, you know, there are somewhat more plausible scenarios. I'm not going to run out of PY150. I have about 3 or 4 years worth, at least. Yeah, so I basically, I want to make sure that I end this, like, that I end 2021 with fewer things in my life than I started with. And so, you know, I do have some allowances for how I'm going to keep going, but the goal then is to actually maintain that. Where it's not like in 2022 that I'm going to be like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to, you know, buy all the things. Because the truth is I'm just overwhelmed with how many things I already have. So I will be buying a tube of PY150 this year for sure because I'm running out of the half pan I traded on Mev's Discord in early 2020. You gonna choose something as a treat, as motivation? No. No. Again, I am allowing myself to buy things. They just have to be things that are worth me decluttering many other things. So I have too much stuff in my life. I know that I have too much stuff in my life. I feel overwhelmed by stuff frequently, and I only infrequently feel like I really want to add something. And so I'm just dealing with it. So if I really, I'm gonna get Sterling's watercolor set when it comes out. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna get rid of 50 things. I also really enjoy going out to thrift stores and like antique markets. That's something that I enjoy doing, and I'm actually pretty good about not buying a huge amount there, but I'll go and I'll look, and sometimes I'll find something that really appeals to me and I'll get it. And I am allowing myself to have days where I do that, but for every outing that I do, that I'm going to go out to thrift stores, I have to go with stuff that I'm going to donate, and I can only bring back at most half as much as I'm bringing out. So things have to leave. I can exchange things with other people, but again, I have to get rid of more stuff than I bring back in. I'm going to try, gifts and stuff come in too, and I'm trying to be aware of that and like declutter, 2 things for everything that comes in as well. Hi, Lauren. Oh, I have a wrench. Yes, you do. You're a mod now. Use your power wisely, or I will take it away from you. Yes, Schminka do a PB16. It's not my favorite, but they have it. Schminka's PB16 they call, what's the, forget what they named it, but yes, they do have a PB16. It's not my favorite version of a PB16, I will say though. Yeah, I should not need new paints or new clothes or really most things in most categories in 2021. But if I do, like in general, if I do run out of something, I can replace it. If something breaks, I can replace it. If something is worn out, I can replace it. I will need to get more paper at some point in 2021, and I'll just buy it. It's fine. Dan, a whole bunch of companies do PB16. So, Winsor Newton has a PB16. Schminka has a PB16. Holbein has a PB16. Daniel Smith now has a PB16. gotten a lot more common. Oh yeah, my Mary Blue as well. Da Vinci does a PB16, yeah. I follow Aaron Blaze, yeah. Dan says I usually stock up on the Jackson sale, but it's a habit I need to stop. So I kind of enjoyed that habit. The Jackson's watercolor sale falls on my birthday every year, so that was kind of a fun thing. Was like treat myself to a birthday gift. But to be honest, last year it was pretty like I was digging deep and more just I bought things because I'd already decided that I was gonna buy things at the Jackson sale rather than because it was something that I deeply wanted or needed. And to be honest, that's a silly reason to buy things. So that's not happening this year. Unless somehow in the next month I run into something that I really need to add. But again, it's not, replace or whatever. But that really, really should not happen. Joy sent me on to jadeite, which is something that I'd been meaning, sort of like interested in trying out, but hadn't really fully processed. And she did a swatch sheet where she mixed it with PY150 nickel azo yellow, and it's just beautiful. And so I decided that I need jadeite. Bit silly. So Kelly is sending me some jadeite, and I'm sending her some paints in return. So again, I'm sending out more than I'm receiving, and I'm okay with that. Now I try to buy everything as local as possible. Supporting local business got really high on my priority list. Yeah. It's interesting, like, because that's always been something that I've been sort of curious about, wanting to support local business, but it really has gotten more pressing recently. It's so interesting. This time this year, I was teaching a class to a bunch of, this time last year, sorry, I was teaching a class to a bunch of 8-year-olds with these ammonites. How things change. I haven't taught a class in nearly a year. I see you also have nice weather. Yes, you're seeing the nice bright sun. Hi, Joy. Good morning. How are you? Lucky me, but Jackson's just local to me. I mean, to be honest, I I guess I'm somewhat more focused on small business than I am on local business. I mean, it depends a little bit for what, for sure. But like, there's not very much in the way of local business, super local business art wise. Like Jackson's is not local to me. There's no super local paint makers. But I'm interested in, like, everyone in the world, all around the world, is really struggling right now, and so I'm, I guess, slightly more concerned with small business than the local business. And then, within that, if it can be local, all the better. Wait, Joy, I tried to, oh my goodness. Joy, I tried to make you a mod, and then I guess I messed that up somehow. Sorry. Lovely to see you, Joy. I tried to make you a mod so that they wouldn't censor you again, but apparently I screwed that up. So I will fix that as soon as I get back on my computer. Paulo, how are you? Oh, Elise is feeding bunners. Bunnies. Buns. Alex! Oh my goodness, I've got all these people coming online. Nice to see everyone. It was a bit quiet at the beginning of the stream because I started like almost on time this time. So there were a few minutes where it was just like me eating a bagel quietly alone. Nice, but not really why I live stream. A real party now, yeah. Sorry, I'm working. Oh, it's fine. I went out for dinner, so I was late. Where did you go for dinner? I was still asleep, having weird dreams. Well, yeah. Sorry, my stream is scheduled sort of oddly for you, isn't it? Lee, what kind of sketchbook do you use? I have the white cover etcher every day. It doesn't have the postcard pages. Yes, because this isn't an etcher. It looks a lot like an etcher sketchbook, where it has this white cover, but it's by Clairefontaine. It's also 100% cotton. The paper is different though, and it's not by Etcher. My other sketchbooks, so this is what I'm using for the exchange. My other sketchbooks are Etcher. I'm gonna see what this one is like with watercolor, and we'll see. Maybe I'll prefer it. I think it's a heavier paper. My sense is I'll probably stick with the Etcher only because the Etcher is cheaper. About Arctic foxes. Paula says I went for dinner to the sushi shop. I didn't have sushi. Only my daughter had sushi. I had yakisoba Thai. Okay, Lauren. You don't need to keep telling people to like and subscribe several times a stream. Just, beginning and end is fine. What is our subject today and whose home is that? Well, I started out by doodling a coral in ballpoint pen here. And then now I have this ammonite fossil. And I'm lightly sketching it in, and then I will test out this paper with watercolor. It's okay, I forgot, just did it. Okay, thanks, Stephen. Is that a cut nautilus shell? It's an ammonite. How are those segmented shells used by the original occupant? I never understood this. So, okay. Maybe it's several occupants. Okay, so there's two things going on. So the first thing is this is a fossil. So the original shell would have been just these little lines here. And then you can see where the individual segments got filled up by deposit, where there's like now, geodes that formed inside, and then there's little like sandy deposit sedimentary stones inside. So that wasn't there. The original would have been just these little lines, like basically the line drawing that I have. So it would have been hollow. But still segmented, you're absolutely right. So I think the critter actually lives over here, and the shell functions more as like a buoyancy aid and a decorative hat rather than as a home. Like the ammonite doesn't recede back into its shell and doesn't like curl back up inside. Is there an equation or approximate for that spiral? There is. It is not what you think it is. So people will often use the perfect rectangle, the Fibonacci sequence, and say, look, it's like an ammonite, it's like a nautilus, and it is not. This is not a Fibonacci spiral. It's a different kind of spiral, and there is a sequence and formula for it, which I have forgotten, but it's its own thing that is not a Fibonacci sequence. A Fibonacci sequence would be much more elongated. Yeah, it's not a Fibonacci sequence. Bye, Dan. We'll miss you. The bigger, heavier it gets, the more buoyancy it also creates. Right, exactly. So this is not like this is the where the shell got filled up with sediment and fossilized. So it's not the actual shell itself. This is a fossil. So it's not like, yeah, the actual shell would be hollow and not heavy like this. Linear, it's not quite a linear either. It's something in between. And there is I'll find you the formula and I'll show you next time, or I'll email it to you. There is a formula for it. I tried to figure it out, like, you know, with measurements and stuff, and it's not quite that simple. But there is a formula and sequence for it, but it is not the Fibonacci sequence, despite what people do. On a small shell like this, it almost looks like the Fibonacci sequence, just because the Fibonacci sequence, like the spiral blows out and it gets much longer as it gets bigger. So in a small thing like this, you can almost match it to a Fibonacci spiral, but it's not a Fibonacci spiral. I believe they could regulate buoyancy by pumping water in and out of the chambers. Yes, so I believe that's how modern day nautilus work. And my understanding is that ammonites had a similar sort of function in terms of the workings of their shell. Can somebody type the name of this animal here? Can somebody type, yes, I can, actually, ammonite. Send. Isn't it a Fibonacci spiral? Not a Fibonacci spiral. 1000% not a Fibonacci spiral. Fibonacci spiral. This is not a Fibonacci spiral. I'll send some nerdy math stuff to my Discord for anyone who wants to partake in nerdy math stuff. And then Stephen, I know that you're not on Discord. That's fine. I'll just send it to you separately. Okay. It's a logarithmic spiral like the Nautilus. It is a logarithmic spiral like the Nautilus. Make a t-shirt that says this is not a Fibonacci spiral. I'll sell it right alongside the Spider Bus t-shirt. Does anyone know what the ammonite soft body actually looks like? Can Ahmad send Joy an image? Is this whole chat filled with math lovers? Yes, it is. All big nerds here. Well, not all math lovers, but lots of big nerds. Okay, so. Taylor series. Is it a Taylor series? I'm more nature, science, nerd, and math is just helpful sometimes. The plus rules for age rules. Math was always my love. Scientific discourse. Okay. So it seems like we've found some information on what this actually is. Yes? I can do a better search later. Sorry guys, I just not during a stream. So yeah, if other people want to come in with so I'm just leaving some large areas white where like some of these little bits are some of these little geode bits are going to be pure white highlight, and I'm leaving quite a bit white around those edges, and then the rest is all going to be this light yellowish color that I'm just going to apply as a wash. And then I'll come back and, oh, sorry, I'm coming off the edge of the screen, aren't I? I suck at math in most cases. I can kind of decode stuff like the Fibonacci sequence, but actual math, my brain goes, okay. I mean, I don't know what feel like by most people's standards, the Fibonacci sequence is real math. Bye, Lauren. Not really, and yes, every infinitely differentiable function can be expressed in a Taylor series. Well, oh, I just don't. Okay, so that is not, in fact, the best way of representing this. Is not a Taylor series. Gotcha. Full speed read of that first length of the musculature, left scars in the shells, which suggests some things about soft body structure. Cool. Neat. Fascinating. So then we're just gonna okay. I'm just gonna leave that to dry for a moment. Lauren mentioned math loving. I just mentioned some random math. Okay. Well, that's fabulous. And I'm glad to have found my nerds. So that is almost dry, which is nice. Okay, and then let's see. What if I mix in some this? Let's get us some blue. I'm watching from the tub, can't type, but I'm here. I appreciate the dedication, Dan. Alright, well now I really have to get up for Dan's stream. Just find random places to watch Dan stream from. Don't say get up. I have difficulty creating blooms on good quality cold press cotton paper. Well, this is hot press, which makes creating blooms, I think, a little easier. Okay, so then if I start then at the other side and get some of this guy here. Shall I take you folks with me to make breakfast? Yes, please. That sounds delightful. Like waffles. Are we Joy taking requests now? Because, like, waffles are delicious. You really have a point there. Also, is Dan watching YouTube now? Waffles. We'll start requesting menu options Thursday night to see what we'll cheer for on stream. Waffles for 5. Yeah, like, hi. I also want waffles. But you'll have to supply the syrup. I have a Costco-sized thing of maple syrup unopened. I will happily supply the syrup. YouTube. I mean, just so we're clear, not that kind of a channel, but you know. But apparently there's like artists and like video game streamers and stuff who are actually using Pornhub as a place to stream just because of some of the new changes to YouTube. And so they're streaming like completely PG rated stuff. They're just using the platform. So, you know, YouTube, whatever. Why not? waffles with maple syrup. I think I tried to convince the missus to make some for breakfast tomorrow. Oh, nice, nice, nice. You tub above is the new. Is momentarily tricked into believing livestream waffles together will happen with loose syrup. Oh yeah. Okay. It seems like YouTube and Twitch are getting a bit of a lot of content creators' nerves at the moment. Yeah. I don't think I'm quite ready to switch platforms, but apparently that's a thing, so. At work, we used to have breakfast and learn meetings, fruits, bagels, and discussing logistics, etc., with a few of the clinic docs. Every meeting I requested waffles. I never got waffles. People left for Twitch, but with all the copyright strike issues lately, the poor way they handled it, they seem to be a lot of frustration. Oh, okay. Like Twitch is not handling copyright strikes well, or YouTube, or both? I mean, I know that YouTube has some issues, but haven't really been following what the drama with Twitch might be. I did get a waffle maker from from a coworker on my birthday. That's great. She's everywhere, unfortunately. I hope you left a complaint with management on why you left that firm. They're lucky you didn't go to the press. I know. Is there no justice in this world? Twitch is dropping the ball immensely. Twitch uses an algorithm and kind of randomly closes channels. Oh, you. Yeah. Oh my god. Ugh. Joy says, sorry, it's only porridge after all, but I can offer coffee. Oh man. I mean, I would totally take another coffee today. Whew. It's 9:30 in the evening. You keep mentioning waffles and coffee. Well, that's why you need to move somewhere with a better time zone, Gabor. Like apparently New Zealand. Oh man. Honestly, even lounging around with some breakfast-themed beverage with friends sounds delightful either way. Whoa, I almost put the almond milk directly in the coffee press. I've done so many silly things where I put like the wrong thing. I'm gonna make coffee. And then I don't put coffee grounds, I just put hot water. Or I put cold water over the coffee grounds, or etc. I do this all the time. It's why Jordan makes me coffee rather than me making coffee in the morning, because like there's a good chance if I try to make it, we'll get something that's not coffee. Hi, Keith. I'm cool. I may be able to handle Canada, but New Zealand is just too far away. And also, they have their fair share of dangerous animals like Australia. Yeah, but on the other hand, like, imagine living in a place with no COVID and where government leaders are, you know, all right. Also, I mean, I don't know. If you're looking for a place with no dangerous animals, I don't know that Canada's really your jam. Joyce's mom says, hello, Lee. Hi, Joy's mom. I once put tea bags in the fridge after making tea. I'd love to live in New Zealand. And Joyce, there's space for all of us. Better hope this channel doesn't blow up too much, then we might overwhelm New Zealand. I don't know, like really my biggest problem with New Zealand really is the like it's all the way over there problem. Because from the point of view of like, you know, climate and government. Oh, New Zealand seems lovely. Canada's fine, just fine. Yeah, I mean that's a like reasonable assessment, I would say. But you know, I'd much rather be where I am now than say like 100 kilometers south of where I am now would be less good, a lot less good. Apparently, Antarctica's COVID-free and free of government climate. Indeed. I almost lost my phone in the trash. Eesh. Go to Hobbiton though. I think if I had to live anywhere in the world, I'd probably pick Iceland, New Zealand, or somewhere like Victoria, Canada. Yeah, those are good places. Those are good places. Pretty good with Denmark, despite. I mean, Denmark would be like up there for me. I feel like New Zealand really has the climate down, and like Victoria would be great too. Victoria, like Canada, but well, Victoria, Australia too, but Victoria, Canada has the downside that it's super duper expensive, like very 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 expensive. Also, it's not quite as all the way over there as New Zealand, but it's still pretty all the way over there. Like it's pretty far. Friend of mine moved to Iceland recently. He sent some awesome landscapes, but there were no trees. How can people exist without trees? So, one of my friends in high school, her aunt went to live in Nunavut, and ended up getting, so that's like far north Canada, well north of the frost line. There's no trees. And she ended up getting married and had a child. And so my friend's cousin came to visit. And she came in the winter and she'd only ever seen trees in books. And so she was looking around at all of these bare trees in the winter because the leaves all fall off. and just like completely staggered. Like, what are those things? What are those things all over your street? And like they couldn't figure out what, like, the trees, but she'd only seen trees in books, so she thought that trees had, like, she would have recognized them if she'd seen leaves, but because she'd never seen a tree in person, she saw trees without leaves and was just completely confused. My Aussie cousin loves Canada. No creepy crawlers like Australia. Victoria will fall into the ocean one day after an earthquake. Oh, well, I mean, eh. Would be mind bending. Yeah. I'm quite liking the paper. It's really nice. Good dispersion, seems really even. Texture, it seems to be maintaining itself, like I'm not getting too much furring out or anything. Only done a couple layers. Yeah, I really like it. Really, I mean, my biggest complaint with these sketchbooks is availability and price. I lived with an exchange student from mid-Toronto in my teens. She was completely enthralled with our colorful snails here. I would be completely enthralled by colorful snails. Like, that would absolutely be something I would obsess over. Still smile every time I see one because of her. So what art projects is everyone working on? Not necessarily like right now, but what are you planning for this year? Sketchbook exchange and a rat illustration. Ooh. Rat illustration seems cool. Or Venn diagrams, cool. Did it in acrylic wash a while ago, now doing it in watercolors. It's always interesting to revisit the same subjects over, isn't it? Sketchbook exchange, I'm feeling my least like sketchbooks with nature drawings. That sounds really nice. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to doing more sketchbook work. Just like low pressure, just painting. And drawing, but like no, I don't know. I feel like I did the daily leave, which was one kind of pressure, and then I put a different kind of pressure on myself that I need to finish, more finished illustrations. And like, yes, I would like to do that, but the pressure wasn't productive. That just made me disappointed with the work that I was producing. So, kind of just want to, do more work for me. My dream job, so might as well just do what I want with it. I'm going to make a sketchbook for the exchange using several kinds of paper and spiral bind it. That sounds really cool. Here's a link to Google Images for the average Danish garden snails. They are so pretty. Okay, I'm going to have to look at these Danish garden snails. I'm super excited. I love snails. Yeah, this paper is really nice. I like it. I'm gonna start in the middle. So you can see I'm not always the best at painting in an orderly fashion and like, you know, direction that makes sense. But trying to skip around a little bit because so there's a little bit of method to this madness. Because I just want to let each section dry before doing the next one over, or sometimes when filling it in. So I'm hopping around, but it does mean that I'm then dipping over my own hand. Well, it works okay. The risk is that I might accidentally dip my hand in some wet paint. I'm trying to avoid it, but it's a real risk. Putting pressure on myself has had a very bad effect on my art hobby. I spent months fretting about what to draw and how. I'm slowly getting out of it, though. Glad to hear you're getting out of it. That sounds unpleasant. you. Finding your streams helped me focus on my own work. Oh, I'm so glad. Good night, Nettie. Danish snails. Yeah, Danish snails sound really awesome. Oh, stretch. Time for more food. Thankfully, everyone. Bye, Stephen. Gower says I just stick to Danish pastry. But Danish snails still go for the veggie patch, but maybe they're more polite about it. I'm like totally okay with snails. Even in my veggie patch. They attract birds who eat the snails, which is nice. I like having the birds too, but I really enjoy seeing snails. Hmm. Right, I'm back on the sofa with tea latte and 3 little terrors. Ooh. Meanwhile, I took this and was like, yeah, sure, I have an hour and whatever left in the stream. I can handle this. The nice thing is my phone is plugged in, so it's not gonna run out of battery, so I can just finish my sketch and people can stream in and out, and that's fine. Oh, your little terrors, you can have one. I've just nibbled my toe. Aww. But it is coming along, this thing, so I think I'm just gonna finish it. And that does mean that this stream is gonna run ridiculously long, but that's okay. Gimme. I love when they are little jerks. My cousin once slept over and Ronnie, my terror, climbed on him and bit him in the nose so hard he had a mark when we woke up. How did I just come in? Oh, very nicely, many thanks. Dark stop, such fun.
It is.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming along. I want dogs so badly. I know it's not a race, but I try to finish my drawing before the stream ends. I need to speed up, or you need to slow down. Well, I've still got a whole bunch left. So today's going to be a long stream, and you can take your time. The downstairs neighbor got a pair of lockdown dogs, and now I baby. I had enough of the barking. Well, I don't have downstairs neighbors. I have my own house with no downstairs neighbors. So it wouldn't be annoying anyone except myself and my cat, who would hate me. What, you really don't think Neurotic Neuron would appreciate a rambunctious, slobbery little brother? No, I really don't. Whatever I bathed in smells tasty as I'm now being licked to death. Guess I just need to share. Magnets are so damn fun. What are you up to? Turn this around, maybe. Give you a somewhat better view. Whoop. Okay. Go here. I've never used the SciArt sketchbook, so I can't really comment on that. That seems like a really cool effect, Alex. Please do share pictures once you're able. Try flirting, Alex. Okay, so threats don't work. Try flattery. Try. Bribery. Sour Patch Kids. Nothing. Dang it. Timeout. From those nanny shows. I feel like I need a timeout like in those nanny shows. Everything has gone quiet. I'm nervous. Your community is comprised of a crossover of math lovers and just lovable idiots. I hope you're happy now. I am delighted. I prefer lunatic with a paintbrush. Thank you very much. Artiste. And part of the following gaming-related communities: the Nut House, the Fail Brigade, Math Lovers, Lunatics. Either plotting or they have tired themselves out. I vote plotting. And I look forward to finding out what they're plotting. I doubt it's a waffles breakfast. I mean, I don't know. I'd be pretty down with like some like ratatouille type, chef rats. This is where they show their dog behavior, go mad for 20 minutes, then they're out of juice. I have a pet like that. It's been a while since I've had hamsters. Hamsters as a little kid, but I don't really remember what they were like personality-wise. How did Neuron react to the dead bird smell in your studio when you let him in again last week? I don't think he really reacted. I mean, I carried out the dead bird and he was curious about that. Buried it in the garden, but then, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I have some bird's nests. They're in a cabinet right now, and some animal skulls. And certainly the bird's nests, if those are out, he'll stick his face in them. And he's like really confused about like, where are the birds? It smells like birds. But yeah, he didn't really seem to pick up on the Oriole I took out. Searching for days. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely like, he has the thing is, Neuron's not very food motivated. He is extremely hunt motivated. So if he sees motion, he goes bonkers. Have to go now. Thanks a lot for the stream. I'll have to watch the whole stream later. Yep, well, I only have a little bit left, but yeah, see you. Sleep well. Yeah, just have to finish up this little top section. Bye, Paolo. Oh, Paolo, did your package arrive? I guess I could just check the tracking. No, my boys are 100% food driven. One of them tried to climb into my latte. Well, this is the thing. Neuron is not at all. He's very, very motion. Like he's hunt driven. He wants to hunt. But in terms of food, he doesn't really seem to react. So like even with treats, he'll do tricks because he wants the reward. But then you give him his treat and he'll just take it, drop it, lick it, drop it somewhere, and just like walk away. He leaves food in his dish. I still have about 2 square inches to finish. Well, I've just got a little teeny tiny bit myself, so seems like you'll be done just in time, Gower. Hi everyone, I found that here's where lovable idiots hang out, so I came. Hi Mikey! How are you feeling?
You still on your stream?
Yeah, I decided to, well, I've got the phone plugged in, so it's not gonna
Mm,
run out of juice, and I'm just gonna run until I finish this piece. You can come in, check.
okay. Oh, it's looking good.
So I did this earlier.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's an ammonite, actually. So it's a fossil from my natural history collection. Yes, hello, Jordan. People say hello.
Oh, hello, stream. Farewell, stream. I was just coming in to say hi.
Yeah, Jordan or Thing 2, you know, whatever. He has a nice voice. Oh, well, he'll be glad to hear that. Remember you something moderator? Yeah, well, now I made you all moderator, so now I can apparently just summon you with that call. Moderator! Where? Where's my scotch? We have 3 bedrooms in our house, and so one of them, the smallest one, we use as a bedroom, and then one of them is his office, and one of them is my studio, my home studio. I do have we both have office spaces outside of home that recently we haven't been using very much. And so he is just down the hall and should be able to hear me when I holler. Although he frequently has headphones on, so doesn't necessarily hear me unless he's got the stream on, which he doesn't really care to do. He can hear me yammer about art anytime. Busiest day today, so all day I was reacting to it instead of having control over it. Oh, that sucks. What was up? KW Art is still closed? Well, I mean, it's not closed. Like, I can go. We all have keys. I could go visit it. Our province is currently in lockdown, so I've been kind of avoiding it all along, but especially now. I don't know, I feel like some people really, that's their only workspace and maybe they want to go there. I do have a home studio, so I don't have to go, and like the main reason why I would want to isn't to interact with people, but given that we're in lockdown, that's like not really recommended. So it's like, it would be, we exist sort of on the borderline of what would be allowable to be open during lockdown. Because we each have our own space within the studio, like that's my office. I could go there. I'm not going to work with other people, but you know, Jordan's immunocompromised. I have some unknown autoimmune issues. But yeah, so I've kind of just been avoiding going in and working from home instead. I miss it a lot, but what can I do, right? For anyone who is unclear what Dan is talking about, KW Artist is a KW Artist Co-op, which is a shared studio that I started up many, many years ago. And so I have a bunch of studio mates, and I have a workspace outside of home, which is really nice to be able to not always work from home. But given the pandemic, I've been keeping away. I won. I posted it on Discord. Awesome. Good for you. Proud of you. All right. I do still have a tiny bit left here, but I will come in a close second, Governor. No, it's not a race. Well. I'm a good person to race with because I'm really slow, so. You know, if you really like to win. All right, so can somebody get me my Discord channel invite link and post it in here in the chat for anyone who isn't already on Discord and would like to chat throughout the week, and you think that these are really fun, nerdy conversations. I have a Discord channel where we keep this up throughout the week. I am just wrapping this up now. Thanks, guys. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit like on this video and subscribe if you're somehow not subscribed. Really helps the channel. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, just a few more little touch-ups to sharpen this up. But then we are get rid of this. And there we go. So that was a really fun stream. Thanks for joining, and thanks for all the compliments. This is always fun, and I'll see you next week, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye. There we go. Okay, bye.